Well, everyone wants to be social so that such a scene does not happen to them in their life. But how? If you Google how to be social, you'll get articles that tell you to smile more or practice talking in the mirror, which is not only painfully vague, but also somehow makes you feel even more awkward than before. If you try Reddit, you'll just get told to go to bars, which is great advice if your goal is to have 3 minutes of surface-level conversation before never seeing that person again. And if you check out TikTok, it'll just tell you that being social is literally just confidence, bro, as if that sentence alone will rewire your brain. But don't worry, I figured it out. After years of failing at socializing, I developed 15 different methods that actually work, and you can pick the ones that match your personality. Let's start with the last one. Method 15, the icebreaker gambit. Some people struggle with small talk because they think everything they say has to be interesting. But the truth is, the first thing you say doesn't really matter. What matters is that you say something. So just go with an easy icebreaker. It doesn't even have to be deep. Ask about their weekend, the weather, or the existential crisis you had at 3 a.m. Just say anything and let the conversation build from there. Method 14, the one-sentence rule. If you find yourself in a group conversation but have no idea when to speak, use the one-sentence rule. This means whenever there's a gap in the conversation, you throw in a single sentence that adds to the topic. This keeps you involved without overwhelming the conversation or feeling awkward about how much you're saying. Method 13, the echo trick. People love to talk about themselves. But if you don't know what to say, just repeat part of what they said as a question. If someone says, "I just got back from a trip," you can respond with, "Oh, nice. A trip?" This encourages them to keep talking and makes you seem engaged without requiring any effort from you. Method 12, the story hook. If you want people to remember you, have a story that makes you stand out. It doesn't have to be crazy, just something slightly interesting. Maybe you once accidentally ordered 100 tacos at Taco Bell, or maybe you tried to be a hand model for a week. People remember stories, so make sure you have a good one. Method 11, the energy mirror. People subconsciously match the energy of the person they're talking to. So if you want people to enjoy talking to you, bring positive energy to the conversation. You don't have to be over the top, but just acting like you're happy to be there can make people feel more comfortable around you. Method 10, the 3 compliment rule. Compliments are underrated, but the trick is to spread them out. Instead of throwing out a single generic compliment, use 3 specific ones throughout the conversation. Instead of saying, "You're cool," say, "That's a great outfit. You have a really funny way of telling stories, and you pick the best restaurants." The more personal, the better. Method 9, the shared struggle. People bond over struggles more than successes. If you're in a setting where you don't know anyone, find a way to subtly acknowledge a shared struggle. Whether it's, "Wow, this meeting is way longer than I thought it'd be," or "Why do they always make these social events so awkward?" Once you bond over a shared experience, the conversation flows naturally. Method 8, the callback. One of the best ways to make a conversation feel more natural is to reference something the other person said earlier. If someone mentioned they had an early morning, later in the conversation, you can say, "So did you survive waking up at 5 a.m.?" It shows you were listening and makes the conversation feel connected. Method 7, the reverse interview. If you ever feel awkward in conversations, just pretend you're a podcast host interviewing the other person. Ask about their interests, their experiences, and their thoughts on random topics. People love to talk about themselves, and if you make them feel like the main character, they'll want to talk to you more. Method 6, the exit strategy. Socializing isn't just about starting conversations, it's also about ending them smoothly. Instead of awkwardly standing there when the conversation dies, say something like, "All right, I'm gonna go grab a drink, but it was awesome talking to you." This keeps things casual and prevents you from getting stuck. Method 5, the act like you belong trick. Confidence isn't about being fearless, it's about pretending you're supposed to be there. Even if you feel out of place, act like you belong and people will naturally accept you. Walk into a room like you've been there 100 times, and people will gravitate toward you. Method 4, the secret handshake. Okay, not literally. But having a unique way to greet people, whether it's a specific phrase, a nickname, or even a high five, makes you instantly more memorable. People associate you with the way you interact with them, so make it fun. Method 3. The group anchor. If you're in a big social setting and don't know how to approach a group, start by talking to one person on the edge of the group. Once you're engaged with them, naturally shift into the larger group. It's way less intimidating than jumping into a full conversation all at once. Method 2. The opinion game. If a conversation is dying, ask a would you rather or opinion-based question. Things like, do you think pineapple belongs on pizza? Or, if you could live in any time period, which would you pick? These types of questions make people engage because everyone has an opinion on something. Method 1. The callback invitation. If you want to turn a casual conversation into a friendship, use the callback invitation. This means if someone mentions they like a specific activity, invite them to do it later. If someone says they love hiking, say, "Oh, we should go hiking sometime." It plants the idea of hanging out and makes future plans feel natural. Pro tip: the don't try too hard rule. The truth is, socializing is mostly about comfort. If you're too focused on impressing people, you'll seem tense. Instead, focus on making people feel comfortable. If you're relaxed, they'll be relaxed. And at the end of the day, people don't remember what you said as much as they remember how you made them feel. And that's it. Socializing isn't some magic ability, it's just a set of skills you can practice. So pick a few of these methods, go outside, and start talking to people. And if this helped you, subscribe to watch the next video.